Well, I have. So I have a question. I wondered this when you were telling me about Ronnie Corbett, and you're watching him, and you think, oh, I'd love to do this, and then you go to these smaller nights, these kind of open mic nights, and you're thinking, oh, I could get up there. What do you have an idea of, or can you remember having an idea of back then what it was you envisioned doing? You liked Python, you liked Spike Milligan.
When you start off, you just sort of copy other people, don't you? Is what you do. So I mean, yeah. So when I started, I would copy Jack D and Stuart Lee.
I really wasn't expecting that. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
I wanted to be that at all.
I wanted to be a deadpan comic, so I liked the ones I liked were I know. I mean, it's obvious now, but
yeah.
The ones I liked were, I really like Arnold Brown.
Okay, yes.
And I like Norman Lovett. It was like the driest.
I know Norman Lovett. In fact, funnily enough, I think Arnold Brown and Norman Lovett were a big influence on Jack, I think, if my kind of
yeah, well, Jack,
knowledge.
He's not that, I mean, he'd only been going a couple of years when I started going, there's not much difference.
Yeah, he loved it. He is a big fan of this.
Yeah, but they were, real kind of trailblazers. I mean, I can't tell you how unusual it was, because there wasn't really any tradition of that in the UK. I think there were some kind of like droll sort of deadpan comics in America, but they were like really unusual, and it's the hardest thing to do, because it's all about the timing, and if you're going to have one basically energy level all the way through, it's just got to be about the words and the timing. It can't be, whereas I might sort of move around a bit, or break into a bit of a song, or produce a funny moustache. They haven't got those things. And the other guy...
Spell out Debenhams with your body.
Yeah.
That's what I always remember when we did the whole variety together.
Yeah. Oh, did we do that? Did I do that on that?
Yeah, we did that together. And you spelt out Debenhams in front of, a man is now king.
Yeah, I actually spelt the end of Debenhams, as it turned out. And another guy, Michael Redmond.
Oh, I know Michael Redmond. Yes, again, another deadpan, fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's just such a pure thing. That's what I liked about it. It was just so pure. And the other one I loved, actually, was one of my real favourites, was, what's his name? Ian McPherson.
Okay.
Irish comic.
Right.
So, and it was just one night. He had the perfect 20 minutes, but he just never really wrote any. When he got the 20 minutes, he never really wrote many more, I don't think.
Right. My friend Carl Donnelly saw this live. He saw Michael Redmond live at the stand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's one of my favourite bits of crowd interaction I've ever heard. I wasn't there. Carl tells me this. Michael Redmond sees a young woman in the front row, and he says, oh my God, how old are you? And she's very young. She says, 20. I'm 20. And he says, my God, I'm old enough to be your really old boyfriend.
Yeah, brilliant. I remember he'd say, I went into a newsagent today, and I said, how much is a Mars bars? How much is that Mars bar? And the bloke says, 25p. He said, oh, okay. He said, I've got one or two more to see. It's a brilliant one.
Fantastic.
And then an Arnold Brown, my favourite Arnold Brown one, which he says he didn't write.
Okay.
But he would say,
well, I believe him.
I was mugged for my trainers. He said, I was walking in my new trainers, and I was mugged for them. He said, but I had the last laugh. As the mugger ran off, I shouted after him, they're not you. But those guys, yeah, so that's why I started. So, I mean, I could always write jokes. I was quite good at just writing good jokes. And so if you've got a good joke, it doesn't really matter how you tell it.
Right.
I'd go, so I was Harry Hall originally when I started. I go, my opening line would be, my name's Harry Hall, and here are the jokes. Very Stuart Lee, right?
Yeah.
And Stuart Lee actually said to me, at the time. He said, what you should do is you should do it like a newsreader. He said, what you should do is come on and sit at a desk and do it. He said, no one is doing that. That'd be kind of a thing. But of course he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Harry Hill. And then I have to, Harry, I have to drag this desk on.
He didn't leave that. We'll put the desk on at the beginning, obviously.
Yeah, but I hadn't really thought about it. My name's Harry Hall, and here are the jokes. And that was like that. It was da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da,
Yes.
da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. So it was the one-liners, I recently had I pulled back the duvet the other night, and a moth flew out. Didn't leave an address, no number, nothing. Never go out with a moth. Never take a moth on a candlelit dinner. That's a joke, So those were, it was like that, up and down. But, and then I just kind of, when I got, and I pretty much, when I first started, I did pretty well. I didn't get a lot of trouble. It was only when I got good that I started sort of having really bad gigs.
How does that?
Because I was so kind of, I then became a bit extreme in my style. And so it was a bit like, people always say about me, Marmite. Some people really hated it. And so then they, people would heckle. But, yeah. And I don't know, basically I found my voice, if you like, my style in Edinburgh one year.
But do you not at the Edinburgh Festival where you do hour shows of people have come to see you? Would you not trace it back to anything? Would you not be able to?
I trace it back. It's what I trace it back to. So 92 maybe. Is it 92? Yeah, 92 when I got that newcomer award. Basically, I'd written this show which was 40 minutes stretched out to an hour, like everyone's first hour, pretty much.
Yes, yeah.
So I padded it out with slides.
Right.
It's a classic, the last, the last refuge of the cad. And it included a song that my friend Matt, the guy I mentioned who was...
Yes.
He was playing the keyboard for me. And I said to him, do you want to come up to the Edinburgh Festival and play the keyboard for me in this show? He said, I'll do it if you let me sing this song I've written about this girl I fancy called Kath. Right?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay. So halfway through this show, we feigned a bit where I would fall asleep on a sunbed. And he would sing this song, oh, Kath, I want to call out your name. I want you to feel the same way too, because I want to fall in love with you. It was a lovely little, sweet little song.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
No.
And then I would wake up. Carry on with the show, right? But because I was, and then the same year, I was in this package show with Al. Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, I know. I was saying this to Tim Vine the other day that I used to be so fearless, right, that I wouldn't even think about, the consequences or, it was just, if I had an idea or if I just do it.
Yes. And
he was the same. And I think, and we were I was sort of saying, I think I need to try and get that back a bit more. I mean, I'm still, I'm still kind of, try, and obviously everything I try, I'm trying to push it still, but something about that where...
Really? It's just, when I watch you, I just think it's just so Route 1.
Well, some of it is. Well, the difficulty actually with a longer career is not to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
So I would do this show. It was about 7:30. I'd do this show, and it was a big stress for me because I had the whole thing to, it was all on my back, apart from this one song which is on his back, and it was up and very patchy, and I had a lot to remember. It was all on me, and obviously if it was tough, it was all, So I finished this show, then I'd walk across town to the Pleasance. To the Cabaret Bar at the Pleasance, which really was the best venue.
Yes, I did.
For stand-up.
Absolutely.
And all I'd have to do is do 20 minutes in this thing called the Comedy Zone, which was me, Al Murray, Brenda Gilhooly doing Page 3. Do you remember she was a Page 3 stunner?
Yeah.
It's like a Mickey take of a Pastry Ego is really funny. And Andre Vincent comparing. And I was so relaxed by then that it was like a 15 minutes, like a doddle. So actually what I used to do is have a pint. I would drink a pint of beer while I was watching Al, or, we would rotate who went on. And that just freed me up. Just like I lost a little bit of... I'm not recommending this as a way to... but actually it did sort of work, kind of freed me up slightly.
Yeah.
And I started ad-libbing a bit and mucking about by, dropping bits of songs in, and just that thing I started doing of like running gags. Yeah.
But it's not just gags, there's the props and there's other characters and there's...
Yeah, but just that I didn't have any props. That was... Or maybe I used to come on with a... I don't know if that was the same one. I used to come on with a mousetrap on my nose, like a... And I'd do all this, then I'd go, you'd wait 5 minutes or however long it was until the moment was right, and then you'd say, you would get that feeling where you do anything for a piece of cheese. Which is is a really good joke. And obviously leaving it all that time.
Yes.
But the other one I used to do is I'd come on with these big eyebrows on, like obviously fake eyebrows, big bushy eyebrows. Similar thing, just do for like 5 minutes. Then I'd say, those eyebrow tablets, is it 4 a day or 40 a day? It's very Tim Vine.
But were you artistic?
Yeah,
To an artistic
you're
child?
kidding. Yeah. Well, I think all children are artistic. I mean, this is a particular hobby horse of mine, is that all children, you give them a piece of paper and a crayon and they start drawing in a completely unself-conscious way. Then at some point, usually, I think probably a teacher or someone puts them off and they think, oh, it's not good enough, or...
That's very strangely, it's exactly what happened to me. I was very good at drawing, and then when I got to secondary school in Brighton, suddenly we had to learn about the history of the artists, and I couldn't fathom how I was in an art class and I wasn't allowed to draw. I just stopped going, and now I can't draw. I'm terrible at drawing.
Can't or won't?
I try. I'm terrible at drawing. Because
there's no such thing as terrible at drawing. There's no such thing. It doesn't mean any.
Good dad. You're a good.
Well,
dad.
there isn't anything. It's there's no right or wrong unless you're trying to sort of make a living out of it, and then maybe. But I mean, it's just the pleasure of doing it. It doesn't matter what the end result looks like. And actually, what's interesting is pictures that are a bit shonky. I mean, actually, if you give someone a piece of paper and a pen, and you say, can you draw that jug, or can you draw that man? The result tells you so much about the person who has drawn it. So I was good at. I mean, I was good at drawing.
But did you stop in that time when you went to medical school and
no,
you carried on drawing?
Yeah, always kept drawing it because I liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
What were you drawing? I sound like a therapist now. What were you drawing? But I'm...
cartoon. Well, not cartoon, sort of... I was sort of doing poor kind of versions of, like, Gerald Scarfe, those sort of scratchy, pen and ink, angry drawings. I used to do, like, drawings for... There was, like, a medical school magazine. I used to do a few for that. But, yeah, I'd do a bit of painting.
Were there jokes in that magazine?
Yeah, there were, yeah.
And you were writing the jokes?
Yeah. I would write some, cartoons or jokes, yeah. So, at school, me and Rob did the joke page in the school magazine, Pavy's Punchlines, which was, the headmaster's name was Pavy, Mr. Pavy, so it was Pavy's Punchlines, and it was like a little cartoon of the headmaster.
But how did you kind of figure out at such a young age how to write a joke? I just wouldn't have been able to...
Well, you did, didn't you?
No, I did. But not at school. It's easy. That is so young. You're brushing that off, but it's probably not abnormal now. But I don't think I don't think your peers would have been writing jokes at school. I've spoken to a lot of them on this.
I think.
And they
well,
won't.
I don't know. They were like two Ronnies gags.
But was it an instinct, or were you doing the thing of kind of? I remember once watching. I can't remember who it was. Watching someone's DVD and trying to type up. There's lots of pausing involved. Pause. It might even have been a VHS. Pause what they say. Type it up and try to work out how these damn things were working.
What jokes?
Yeah. But it was more routines because it was a stand-up, and it was like, pause, right, I know why I'm laughing, but exactly how have they done it? It was that, were you kind of looking at a joke book and going, what's the structure of this, or was it just felt instinctive to you?
I don't know. I mean, they weren't necessarily good jokes, but I mean, I just sort of think I just understood it. I mean, those two Ronnies, so it'd be like, it's a bit rude, but it was like, and they've announced the Playtex have announced the new a new bra, launched a new bra. It's called the Sheepdog. It rounds them up and gets them pointing in the right direction. It's like, so it's the setup, it's the point, I don't know. It's just like it's a form. I mean, jokes like that are just a formula, really.
Yeah.
I mean, those are less interesting, as you go on, aren't they? They're not really the things that you. I mean, it's nice to have one or two of those, but what's more interesting is like getting a laugh in a way that is not obvious.
Yes, yeah. Do you have any inspirations any people in your life that you think kind of helped you take this course into the world of stand-up?
What?
Maybe something that inspired. I know. For example, you went to Hong Kong and it was a teacher.
Yeah, but not to be a comedian. I mean, he said to me I was good at communicating with people.
But that stayed with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I sort of knew it. I knew it instinctively anyway.
So you lived in Hong Kong. Why?
Well, I am actually Chinese. No, I am.
We know that.
I am
digging deeper, Harry.
I am a Chinese man. You can use that as the trailer. I am Britain's most successful Chinese comedian. But I don't like to talk about it. No,
What were you
my
doing
dad's job
in Hong Kong?
My dad's job. He came home from work. I'll never forget. He came home from work. He said, "Oh, I've been offered a job in Hong Kong." Jan. It's my wife, my mum's name. Oops, my mum's name is Jan, and I've been offered a job in Hong Kong. Oh, we're moving to Hong Kong. I thought, over my dead body we are. I didn't want to go.
How old are you?
14.
Bloody hell! Yeah. That's big.
Yeah. So I was due to go to the grammar school. I was at the comprehensive, 2 years at the comprehensive, creamed off with all the other nerds to the grammar school, but instead of starting at the grammar school, I found myself in Hong Kong.
Kent to Kong.
From Kent to Kong.
Yeah. Right. Did that have any? Did that?
What do you think?
Did that?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't ideal. That it's an awkward age to be.
Yeah.
Basically starting from scratch. Yeah, not nice. I didn't like it. I mean, I remember get the plane, right? It used to take, God knows, it took us like 24 hours to get to Hong Kong. The planes were slower, it was like, awful. And it was like, I'm one of 5 kids, everyone's arguing. And there wasn't all this entertainment and stuff. It was like, I don't know, it was like one film or something.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind. And Jaws. And then we got off the plane. The door opened on the plane. I get to top of the steps to walk down, and it was like a human. Have you been to Hong Kong?
No, actually.
Yeah. Well, don't. It was humid, right? It was like a wet blanket, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to like this. I really, I did. I did. It's true. And I didn't.
That is not a good start.
No. Yeah.
Nah, not for me.
Yeah. I thought, when is this bit finished where it's humid? No, it doesn't finish. It's all year round. Sometimes it rains. But actually, after about 6 months, it was great. And then I didn't want to come home. We came home. We were there for 2 years, roughly.
And then when you came back, did you have to reintroduce yourself again? I suppose you didn't go back to the same school,
then,
so then you had to reintroduce yourself to loads of new people.
Well, see, then, when I came back, I was like this exotic kid that everyone wanted to know. I was tanned.
You were their only Chinese friend.
Yeah, I was the only Chinese kid in the village.
Yeah.
I was tanned. Stories had gone ahead of me. My sister was at that school already, and it was an easy return because, like you say, I had friends there already, and sort of picked up where I left off. I mean, I had to change O-level syllabus.
Tell me, because I knew what you were referring to, but this talk about the chimneys and then the teacher telling you, what he said.
So this guy, my history teacher, was also the guy that read the news on Hong Kong television. Right, so it was like what they call an expat community, right? So there were a lot of British people in Hong Kong. There were a lot who had come on with work. A lot of Australian people, a lot of Indian people. It was like a real sort of melting pot, and obviously a lot of Chinese people. And so this history teacher, Paul Gillingham, you'd get home from school, you turn the TV on, he'd be reading the news. So he was sort of glamorous. He was quite sort of glamorous anyway. And he's the one that said, so it was sort of a double bubble when he said, we all did our little talks about whatever it was we'd chosen to do our talks about. I'd done Victorian child labour. And, so I was aware, basically, these other kids are going up and doing it, and everyone's just thinking, they go, no, then what happened was Queen Victoria said to Benjamin Disraeli, all this. And everyone's thinking, when's this going to end? And I get up and I've got like a drawing of a chimney, and I've got a picture of this, I've really gone for it. And I do this talk, and I'm aware as I'm doing it, everyone's like, wow, no, basically had him in the palm of my hand. I could have taken him anyway. And it goes, and everyone's leaving. He says, Matthew, can I just have a quick word? Can I stay behind? And he goes to me, in my memory, I mean, this may not be what he said, but it was something along the lines of, you're very, you probably picked up that you were very good at communicating with people. He said, it's a great skill to have. And then I think I've added, never use it for evil purposes. I don't think he actually said that. But the sweet thing about this story is that I mentioned it in my autobiography.
Harry Hill fight.
Yeah. Paul Gillingham's daughter got in touch with me that she had told her dad.
Oh, no, I'm well up at stuff like that. Honestly, please.
I'm choked. Actually, I did cry when she told me.
Yeah, don't.
And then when he died not long after. So it's a sweet story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't! I'm such a since I've had kids.
Yeah.
I'll go at anything.
Yeah.
I thanked I had a DVD once upon a time. It was like at the end of that era, and at the end of the DVD, I thanked my RE teacher, Mr. Hill, as it happens, and because he said I was in the bottom sets for everything. I just misbehaved, and he said during a lesson, I can't remember why he said it, but he said, "You're going to be a comedian," and it was the kind of first time an adult had said something that had any belief in that I could do so. I couldn't believe an adult wasn't telling me off, wasn't telling me I was naughty. It was saying you're going to do something you want, and that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So at the end of the DVD, I thanked him, and I said, "Thank you to Mr. Hill. You told me I could do this." You know, I didn't know if he would see it or anything. And then I released a stand-up special on YouTube, and I went down the comments, and it was this is a different show. This wasn't the DVD, and it was him. And he said,
Things have got a bit tougher for you.
RE teacher. Well, yeah.
Suddenly you're on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you reread in between the lines there, yeah. Okay, but he had written a comment underneath the special and said, I always believed in him, and even when things were tough, I knew he would come back from it." And I couldn't believe it. He was there. I got to tell him, and I said, "Mr. Kevin, I'm typing. I want you to know. I thank you. Probably haven't seen. I thank you at the end of my DVD." And he never got back to that comment. I don't know if he saw. I have no idea if he's seen that I thanked him. But yeah, welling up when I saw that comment from him on YouTube. It's good for you, man. It's good for you.
But I mean, that was it. I mean, how many years was I at school? That's one comment I got. All that time. It's funny that, because it's funny this, because, like, you strike me as being, I mean, obviously you're a very, smart bloke, very clever, very, naturally gifted, great company. And I'm thinking, and I don't really understand why teachers don't see that in kids. And your story is a very familiar one. I mean, it's another kind of bugbear of mine, is that I think school fails as many people as it serves.
Yeah,
actually, probably more. It's a real cock-up school.
Yes, I mean, tough for those teachers. Tough for those teachers.
Well, the teachers
we were naughty. We wouldn't have made life easy for them.
No, I guess. Yeah,
I can tell you lots of stories of that. As an adult, you go, "Oh my God, they're just at work."
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You're locking them in a cupboard.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's that's a kind of result of you not having enough to do or stuff to interest you at school. I guess.
Yeah.
It's not the teachers' fault. I mean, they're sort of stuck with this curriculum, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of teachers feel the same. Probably.
Absolutely, yes. But you weren't naughty. I don't get the
no. I've never been naughty.
No.
To this day.
Cheeky?
No.
You're a cheeky man. I think you're a cheeky man.
Well, I've got a license. I've sort of got by being Harry Hill, I've got a license.
Yeah. To
be that, so that now I can be. I can just say anything really, and people are just like, "Oh, it's him."
I'm a Chinese man, for example.
I can be stupid, in a shop or just if I feel like it. So it's a kind of it's kind of like a childlike thing, which often childhood, people try and beat that out of you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And that, I think it's funnier as I get older, because I think it's even funnier if you're an older person acting like a child. I always think Norman Wisdom, I never used to find Norman Wisdom that funny when he was at the top of his sort of tree, in the 50s. No, in the when you'd see him on, I don't know. But then when he was older and he's sort of 80s and he's falling over and he's doing all that, it's a grip. It's just like really, really funny, because you're thinking, this guy's, 80 odd. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
no, but I was never naughty, never got in trouble. I mean, I wish I kind of regret, particularly when I was a doctor, I was pushed around left, right and centre. I was really, the kind of system then anyway, you were really taken advantage of by these consultants who were just sort of rude to you and treated you like dirt. And I wish I had sort of stood up to them. I mean, I would now, but I wish I had sort of stood up to them.
And when you were doing that and through that, and it sounds very tough, were you going, I've got to get out of this and be a comedian?
Yeah.
Be a comedian.
First day as a doctor, right? So I get there. I mean, I can't tell you, I was terrified.
I can't imagine.
So it's orthopedics, which I that was one of the courses you didn't really have to pass. So I'm like pushing this trolley around.
I don't want to hear that.
There's all these people in sort of plaster and, pins and God knows what. And I'm thinking, what's that? Literally. And this nurse came out to me and said, oh, can you write Mrs. So-and-so up for a pre-med, right, which is the thing you give someone before the anaesthetic to sort of, I think it was to dry up the secretions a bit and calm them down.
Right.
So I'd say, they said, write him up for a pre-med. And I said, right, yeah, so what would that be? And she said, well, it's, 5 milligrams of pethidine and, whatever it was of, okay, right. So I write this up, sign it, there we go. So the next time I move on, the nurse comes up and says, can you write this other person up for a pre-med? I was thinking, right, I know what that is, that's easy, 5 milligrams. But of course, the first lady was sort of, 15 stone, sort of young 15 stone woman, and this other lady was sort of, 8 stone, 80-year-old. And basically they had to resuscitate her to give her the anaesthetic because she basically just completely floored her. Knocked her out. God. She's like that. Choking on her tongue.
Christ.
And, it was all that. Anyway, this first day this was.
Yeah.
Anyway, first moment I get to go to the loo, right? I go to the loo. Suddenly I'm alone in this, toilet.
Yeah.
And I said out loud, I don't like this.
Oh, wow.
I thought I can't do this. I mean, I can do it for a bit, but I can't do this. I mean, this is just awful.
Wow.
And then, and then back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. What I liked.
I was like that on Mock the Week.
Yeah. Well, people say
just run into the toilet. I can't do this. But anyway, so look, back to hospital. Shut the door. I can't do this. Back out. Carry on and know that it's but know that it's comedy.
Huh?
But know that it's when you say comedy.
No, it wasn't. There was nothing funny about it. No, it was just.
No, I mean, sorry, I'm not being clear. What I mean is, did you know that the thing that would pull you away from that you were going to head towards was comedy?
Well, that's what I'd worked out that I wanted to do that. I mean, if I hadn't had something else I wanted to do, I would have stuck at it.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I mean, everyone wanted to leave. All my friends wanted to leave, but I mean, there was nothing. By then you're so kind of channeled into this.
Yes.
It's completely vocational. Obviously, medical school. You go in a sort of sixth former and you come out a doctor.
Yes.
So that was the thing. Yeah, I knew I wanted to do this, and I knew the route. I knew the way to do it. And that by then, was phoning up the numbers in time out. So it seemed like, and I always felt like with the double act, we'd never given it a proper go, and so I thought I'll give it up. I'll take a year off, and at least then at the end of the year, I'll really go for it. And at the end of the year, I'll know that I can't do it. That's what I thought would happen.
Yes.
And that's what I did. Actually, even taking a year off was a really risky. By taking a year off meant that I was never going to be a consultant. I mean, I think you could do that now, but then if you just strayed from the sort of accepted way of doing things. Actually, the best thing that happened to me was that I passed all my medical school exams as a doctor, and then there was this pressure to then get this other qualification so you could be a physician, or the start of this career to being a physician. And the bloke I worked for was keen for me to do it, and I wasn't a bad doctor. I mean, actually, I was probably quite a good doctor. And so I take this. And you're allowed. And the reason I took the exam because I had 2 weeks study leave. It meant you got 2 weeks off. And I did a bit of revision, but mainly I wrote this play about that was going to take to the Edinburgh Festival about being a junior doctor. And I got the result of the exam. I failed the exam, resoundingly failed it. And it was the first thing I'd ever failed, and there weren't really any consequences. And it's the first time I thought, oh, okay, so you don't get shamed or nothing happens, you failed. And you have to sort of say, I didn't pass it or whatever, but it didn't seem like such an awful thing. So that was like a huge kind of liberation for me, that I then sort of stopped worrying about that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was at that point you knew, now, if I go to a club, I can roll an orange into the crowd. And
Well, by then we'd dropped that. But no, then so I gave up my job. I was umming and ahhing about it, but basically I didn't get another job. You had to keep applying. Every 6 months you'd have to apply for another job. It was to keep you keen, so you had to, every job you were trying to prove yourself, and if you got a bad reference, that was you sort of wiped out. So yeah, it was all very kind of manipulative and designed to sort of make you feel uneasy.
Yes, but also a lot of just to kind of make a bit of a matching. It sounds like there's a lot of adrenaline involved in both.
Yeah,
you would have gone into stand-up. That adrenaline wouldn't have been. It doesn't sound like it would have been new. It might have even been less.
No, it was less.
That's remarkable, isn't it? Because for most comics,
yeah. I mean, I used to wake up. I wasn't. Yeah, every sort of 2.5 days, 3 days, I would be on call for 24 hours, right? And I would wake up in the morning on those days, and I would feel really anxious, thinking, "Oh Christ, what's going to come through the door today?" And it was like, because I was often like the first, because if you're the junior doctor, you're the first person that sees anyone,
Yeah.
And so it was a huge responsibility. So mainly what I didn't like was the responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry, thank you so much. It's been hilarious. You've given me a headache through laughing so much. So thank you very much.
A laughter headache. Well, it's always nice spending time with you, Sean. I'm a big fan of yours.
Bless you. You too. That's the end of my chat with Harry Hill. What can I say? I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I loved that. I got a headache from laughing. It was thoroughly interesting. And of course, I think quite a different story into it, actually, which I suppose you'd expect. But I absolutely loved that. And don't forget to go and check out Harry's own podcast, which is on YouTube and Spotify, The Harry Hill Show. Head to patreon.com/classclown, where Harry answers your questions. And also come and see me on tour. See my show, This Is Torture. Tickets available for that in the episode description, or you can go to seanwalsh.com. That's it from us, and we'll be back with a brand new Class Clown next week. Cheers.